the subject line, Danny Masterson's contribution to the 9/11 first responders. This was a really edifying email. Thank you, Troublemaker Sarah. Maureen and team, watching your story about Ashton Kutcher tonight, Nerve at Night, I wanted to share what Danny Masterson's actual philanthropy involved regarding the 9/11 first responders, which Ashton Kutcher referred to in his letter to the judge, begging the judge to really spare Danny for, despite being convicted of violently raping 2 women, one at gunpoint. He implemented a drive, this is Danny, where he raised funds for them to be subjected, the first responders, the 9/11 first responders, to be subjected to what is called the purification rundown in Scientology. So this is not philanthropy, if this troublemaker is correct. It's a very common thing for Scientologists to do, but it is very unhealthy. It involves taking dangerous amounts of niacin and sitting in a sauna for hours. Doing so most likely put those first responders' health in more jeopardy than being at ground zero. And also the money he raised went to Scientology. These are garbage people. And some of you also made sure to point out to me that Ashton Kutcher has allegedly said that he first met Danny Masterson when Ashton was 20 years old, which would mean that Ashton wasn't 19, as he has claimed, but 20 when he made a bet with Danny as to who would be the first to ram their tongue down Mila Kunis's throat when Mila Kunis was only 14 on the set of that fucking 70s show. Fucking kidding me? Wednesday's Nerve at Night comment, Troublemaker Kelly from New Jersey. As I sit drinking my morning coffee, oh, love it, out of your Nerve mug, I had to write to bring up a point not mentioned in last night's Nerve, and you are correct, Troublemaker Kelly. I was remiss. The common thread between Kutcher, Demi, Mila, Danny, and Bijou Phillips is Scientology. And if I recall correctly, I think Demi and Ashton were, in fact, married in a Scientology ceremony, right? I think they were married by a Scientologist. I could be wrong. Okay. Ashton fucking Cockster is the subject header. I love you, Troublemaker Danette. That's some real ingenuity there. Ashton and his wife were on a show talking about how infrequently they bathe their children. They had some kind of stupid pit spits holes inanity that creeped me out. Sounds about right. Hi, Maureen, vis-a-vis Diddy. Look into Albie Shore as well. There are also allegations that Diddy also put Albie Shore into a coma. Allegedly, reportedly. Thankfully, Al got better. He has alluded that it was Diddy. The Nerve Snow Globe. Hi, Maureen. Last Friday when you teased the weekend mini, and this weekend's mini, we got a recidivist we haven't heard from in a while. It's going to be a banger. You said it would be a lo-fi nerve, kind of like a snow globe. I can just imagine that in the merch store. So funny, Troublemaker Susan in Texas. We were talking about this around Christmas time last year, and we're thinking about trying to get it done for Christmas time this year. A beautifully crafted globe. This is so funny, with a tiny Maureen and signature pearls standing outside the woodshed. The wood chipper and stump grinder in the periphery. I would amend that to include me with an axe that's got blood dripping off of it. And then perhaps Rob, Bill, and Tim lurking about as well. It would be fabulous. I think so too. This email, the header is Maureen Kalamala Ding Dong. I think that this troublemaker is actually Timothée. I could be wrong. Just finished Marty Supreme. Incredible movie. I am shaking. Really? F you, Maureen Callahan, and all the critics that panned Marty Supreme into the wood chipper. Maureen TC put in a great performance. He deserves an Academy Award, in all caps, a must see. I mean, if you say so. I'm not going to the theater to see that shit. Okay, GLP-1 discussions. This is a serious one, and this is from a troublemaker who had to have bariatric surgery due to a rare but treatable stomach cancer. This troublemaker knows whereof she speaks, and she had multiple surgeries at the best hospitals by the best surgeons in New York City. She says this is to Oprah and her merching and pushing of GLP-1s in the culture, okay? And how we're not really having nuanced conversations about what these drugs do and the consequences. Before any bariatric surgery, I don't know why I'm stuck on that. Patients were required to lose at least 20 pounds through diet and exercise. Effort and commitment were mandatory. Some patients had to lose even more depending on body fat. In other words, there were no shortcuts, ironically. Now, this troublemaker's stomach was basically taken apart and put back together. And the result, she says, I dropped from a healthy 125 to 99 pounds in under 8 months. I am 5'2" and felt like shit constantly. The diagnosis was gastroparesis, or delayed gastric emptying, which coincidentally you've discussed as a side effect of GLP-1 medications. Reduced gastric motility is a known effect of GLP-1 drugs. Essentially, your stomach falls asleep due to either being operated on a bunch of times or by the effects of GLP-1s. Symptoms range from feeling full to persistent nausea, vomiting, which is violent. It's violent to vomit. There's a reason everybody tries to suppress that. Pancreatitis and other complications. Even if the GLP-1 medication is stopped and gastroparesis improves, there's no guarantee that the damage isn't permanent. The point is that bariatric surgery requires serious commitment and lifelong nutritional and psychological counseling. Surgery alone doesn't fix the problem. I highly doubt Oprah went through this level of soul searching before being given injections for her disease. And I doubt counseling patients is part of the GLP-1 prescribing protocol. You've mentioned Oprah spent 3 days hospitalized for undisclosed reasons last year, and I'd bet it involved either a severe gastroparesis flare, pancreatitis, or something Jillian Michaels suggested on your show, a Bezor. That's spelled Bezoar, but it's pronounced Bezor, where food sits in the stomach for so long, it turns into a literal rock. These cause excruciating pain and are treated with massive laxatives, or if you're unlucky, surgical extraction. And as Jillian reminded us, or actually taught us, I didn't know this, if you're on a GLP-1 and you have to have surgery to remove the lump of food that has been stuck in your stomach because your stomach is now paralyzed because of these GLP-1s, guess what? You got to go off that GLP-1 for at least a month because you can't go under anesthesia because you might aspirate to death. That's Oprah shoving this shit in America's faces. Like it's like, take your vitamin B pill and your GLP-1 pill. Oh my God, Marlena snuck this in. Marlena. Okay, I wasn't expecting this. This last email comes to us from an anonymous troublemaker. Dear Maureen, Bill Maher celebrated his 70th birthday this week. Dying to know, did you furlough him from the woodshed for the day? I don't know. Ask Marlena. She probably snuck out behind my back, grabbed the key, let him out. I don't know what those two got up to together. I can only hope they, please, I hope, Marlena, you at least took the blue light and the luminol. Be safe out there. When was the last time you truly trusted the seafood that you brought home? The nutrition, the taste, the sustainability? Introducing Wild Alaskan Company. Their seafood is 100% wild caught, never farmed, which means no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives. Just clean, nutrient-rich fish that supports healthy oceans and fishing communities. Wild Alaskan Company delivers perfectly portioned, wild-caught seafood straight to your door. The fish is frozen right off the boat to lock in flavor, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. Every order supports sustainable harvesting practices, and their flexible membership includes expert tips and feel-good seafood. My personal favorite, is the wild sockeye salmon. It's rich, it's buttery, and it's incredibly fresh. It's so good for you, salmon. I just love it. The best part, you can try it risk-free. If you're not completely satisfied with your first box, Wild Alaskan Company offers a 100% money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Just high-quality seafood that you can feel good about. Not all fish are the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first order. And thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode.